Hey guys, it's Sion, and as you can see in the title, I have finally decided to make a tutorial on how to make Valorant edits like me because lots of you have been asking for me to make one. I'm basically going to explain most of the things I do when I make my Valorant edits, and I will have timestamps for whenever you want to skip to different sections. So the first thing I do when I open my DaVinci Resolve is I create a new project. I'll call it whatever, I'll just call it DaVinci Tutorial. You press create, and then it should open and look something like this. Now once you're here, you want to right click your media pool, which is basically just where all your clips are. You want to hover over timeline and then create a new timeline. You want to uncheck use project settings, and what this is going to let you do is change like the frames per second on your edits, and you want to go to format and then click on timeline frame rate and make it 60 and then create your timeline. Now once you've created your timeline, you want to go to playback, hover over render cache and click smart. And what this does is it will render all the effects, so like basically just makes everything not laggy in a way. It'll just help you while you're editing. Now you want to drag your clips onto your media pool, and then it should appear like over here. And in this video I'm going to be showing 3 different types of like kills, so you guys get like a better idea of what it should look like. And to get your clips into your actual timeline, you just take the clip in your folder where you have clips in, you just drag it on like this. So once you have your clip here, there are many tools you want to get familiar with first. There's a select tool, which you can just click A on, and then it should be your select tool. This is where you use to like drag the clip around. There's also a snipping tool here, which you can also just click B for to use that as a shortcut. And what this does is it cuts your clip. So if I wanted to cut my clip right here, for example, on the kill, I just press B, I left click, and it cuts right here. There's also a magnet tool, which is right here. You can click N as a shortcut. Also, for all of these, you can just hover over, see what shortcut it is. If you click N, it will automatically connect your clips together. So what I mean by that is if you look here, if I were to drag it onto here, it like kind of snaps together like a magnet. And finally, there's also a link tool which connects your audio to your video. So if I were to take it off, I can just click on the audio, delete it, and it will just be the video without the audio. There's also a tool here that you can zoom in and out of the timeline. So if I were to have a clip here and I want to zoom in more on the timeline to make the clip kind of bigger and easier to access, you just want to zoom in like this. And then you have a more in-depth view on like your actual clip rather than it being totally zoomed out and not being able to navigate it at all. Now that you're familiar with the tools, I'll be showing you guys some of the effects that I use for my Valorant edits. I have set up a clip lined up with an audio here, which kind of looks like this. And now I'll be showing you all the effects that I use to make it look right. Now the first effect that I'm going to go over is the velocity effect that I use. So what I'll do is I'll just cut the clips kind of like this. And then you can also press M to mark like the beats of your song like this. And then that's where I'll like cut it to the next beat of the song, or however long you want your clip to be. Also, another thing, I like to click on the link tool and just get rid of the audio because it makes it sound less clean in a way. And you can add the Valorant kill noise like on top of it. Now once you have something set up like this, you want to create a velocity for when you're about to kill the enemy. And what you want to do for that is you want to right click the clip, open in Fusion page, and once you're here you want to hit Control Space, which is a shortcut, to open all the tools that you have in DaVinci. You want to type in the time stretcher node. Make sure it's connected. You can hold shift to connect it, and if it's kind of like not on the grid, you should see an option where you can right click, arrange tools, and then to grid. Otherwise it'd be like kind of like not really clean. Now once you have your time stretcher node connected, you want to get this value right here, hit control, drag the orange bar to the first frame, which would be right here because it's at the very beginning. And then you want to paste this number into the source time and make sure there's a orange ping here, and that will be the beginning of your clip. And you want to drag this orange bar to the very end as much as you can. Click on this orange diamond, which is a keyframe, which just kind of keeps the frame in place. And you want to just drag this number until you're about to kill him. So like around right here or right here, you can do whatever. Now once you've done that, you want to go on to spline, and this will be the graph of your time stretcher node. And what you want to do here is you want to hit Control A, which selects all, tap S, which will make the graph smoother, and create a graph that looks something like this. And essentially what this graph does is it's a like really fast and then slows down, so like it looks something like that. And it's like a nice velocity. After you've done that, you want to add some motion blur to make the clip look smoother. So you click flow, clamp edges, and then you want to click on your media one, do the control space shortcut, type in optical flow, and now you've created a motion blur velocity clip. Once you've done that and you go back, there will be this red bar here, and a way to like make it not lag like this is you can click on this export button and just let the video play out. And what that does is it just renders the video. So I'll be back when it does that. So once you've rendered it, it should look something like this. And I've noticed something in this is that it does go really fast here and then kind of slows down. So what you can do is just like go back to your time stretcher, go to the first frame and just like drag it forward a couple frames. If it does look like that, to avoid this issue, and then just fix your graph, and then you should be good. Now once I've rendered it, it looks something like this, which looks a lot better. And now what you want to do is the velocity for after the kill. And what you want to do is just right click again, open in Fusion, and you're basically just doing the exact same thing. You want to go to your first frame, type in time stretcher, and then copy this value into source time and the first frame, keyframe it. So make sure this orange thing is on. Go to the end, click it again, and then just drag it to wherever you want your clip to finish. So I'd say around here. You want to open spline, click on this button to find the graph, hit Ctrl A, tap S, and then make the same graph like this, and it should look something like this. And then you click flow, clamp edges, click on median 1, control space, optical flow, and then that creates the motion blur effect. And once you render it out, it looks something like this. And altogether, it looks something like this. And I know it might look a little weird right now, but with the effects, it pretty much fixes everything. Now for the 3 main effects I use a zoom in, flash, and a shake. And I'll be showing you guys how to create all of that in a second. And what you want to do for that is you want to go to effects, go to the search bar here, and type in adjustment clip, drag that onto your timeline, and just cut it to however long your clips may be. And a shortcut you can do is you can click on the adjustment clip, hold Alt, and it will duplicate all the adjustment clips. And you can do that with everything almost. You can do it with the clip here as well if you're trying to do something with that, I don't know. Now for the first effect, I will be going over the zoom in and zoom outs. So usually I do that at the top layer of my adjustment clips. And what you want to do is you want to right click it, open in Fusion page, and you want to do the control space and type in transform and add a transform node. After you've done that, you want to type in the first value at 1 or 1.5 depending on if you're zooming out and then in or in and out. And you'll see what I mean in a second. And then to find the point at where you like zoom in, you want to find the point where you like kill the guy, like the impact, right? So then you drag the timeline bar to where that kill is. You open the Fusion again, and then your orange bar will be right here where the kill is. And then that's where you'll add your impact. So then you keyframe the size again, and you type in like 1.5. So it'll look like this. And then you go to the end and you type in 1. So it's like a nice little zoom in, zoom out effect. And then as for the spline, you want to click on this little button again to fit the graph into your spline. Control A, tap S. I'm going to be showing you guys like many variations of what kind of graphs you can do. You can do a slow to fast graph, or fast to fast graph, or fast to slow graph. And I'll be showing you like all of that. So if you want a build up on your impact right here, you want to create the graph something like this, which will look like this. If you wanted a faster impact, you want to create a graph something like this, which will look something like this. And then for the kill impact, if you want a slow to fast graph, you would have to make something like this, which will look like this. Which in my opinion, you should really never use. And then for literally most of my kills, I would do something like this, which is a fast graph, and that looks something like this. And then once you've done your graph, you want to go to settings, click on motion blur, tap quality once, and then tap shutter angle twice, and that'll automatically just create your values like that. And that is the zoom in, zoom out effect that I use for most of my edits. Now the next effect that I'm going to be going over is the flash effect. So you want to open your second adjustment clip in the Fusion page. And this time you'll be adding two nodes. So first you want to add your brightness contrast node. And in this one you want to click on gain. You're going to be focusing on the gain. And you want to do like a brightness impact as well. So you want to go from no brightness to high brightness to low brightness, because it'll be like impact. So once you've created the keyframe on the first frame, you want to again go back, find the impact kill right here, right click, open Fusion, and then you want to keyframe it to anything from like 1.3 to 1.1. Go to the end and then keyframe it at 1, and then it'll look something like this, like a flash effect. But once you've done the brightness, you want to go ahead and add a defocus node, which is like just essentially another flash. And for this one, you want to click on defocus size. You want to keyframe the first frame here at 0. You can also just keyframe the end. Go ahead and keyframe the end here. And then you want to find the same frame on the impact, and then you just want to keyframe it at 2. And then it should look something like this. And if it does get too bright, kind of like it did right there, you want to adjust the brightness. Since it's 1.3, you can just make it 1.1. It'll look a lot more appealing to the eye. So then it should look something like this. And for this effect, I don't really look at the spline, but if you did, it would just be the same graphs as the adjustment clip above it, the transform. It just look something like that if you really want to do. Now for the last effect that I use a camera shake effect. So you want to go to your last adjustment clip, open in Fusion, and you just want to add in a camera shake node. Now once you have your camera shake node, you want to go to the first frame, keyframe it at 0, and then go to the impact kill right here. You want to go to the kill. Whenever you're at the kill, you want to make the overall strength at 1. And then keyframe everything else at 0, the beginning and end at 0. And then for the camera shake graph, I like to take the nodes, and you can hold control. It'll only drag one of these. If you weren't to hold control, it would look something like that. Anyways, you hold control, click this node, and I would drag it down to around 0.2 for both of them. And then the bottom one, I would drag it kind of close to where those nodes are, depending on how long a clip is. And then it's kind of like a build up shake impact, and when you play it, it will look something like this. And to make it look better, you just do the same thing as you did in the first effect. You go to settings, click motion blur, and then up the quality and shutter angle by clicking it once and then twice on this bar, and then it'll just look more clean like this. And with all of those effects combined, it looks something like this. I'll also be showing how to do a velocity jet dash with a reverse and without. And what you want to do in that case is you want to click on the arrow keys like this to find the exact moment where jet dashes like this, and just drag it to like the next part of your edit. So after I did this, I'm planning on adding a kill right here. And what you want to do in that case is you want to cut it to wherever your next beat is. So right there, when there's a beat here, you can mark it if you want, and then cut it to however short that is. Open it in Fusion. And now for the two types, I'm going to be going for the regular jet dash, and then I'll show you guys what the reverse looks like as well. You want to add a regular time stretcher node, copy and paste this number and paste it into source time on the first keyframe. Make sure it's on the first keyframe. Go to the end and keyframe it again, drag it to where around Jett's dash is, like here. Also make sure the end value is always 0.0, because otherwise it'll look kind of blurry like that if it's not on 0.0. Once you're here, you click on this zoom to fit button and you make your graph look something like this, which will just be like a fast and then slowed jet dash like this. And obviously with motion blur it'll look better, so what you want to do is just flow, clamp edges, and then add in optical flow. And once that's rendered, it'll look something like this. Now for the jet reverse, you want to just do the same time stretcher and then copy and paste the same value here in the first frame. But this time you're going to be going to the end and keyframing it around where Jett's hand is in the middle, so either here or here, it doesn't really matter. And then you want to go into the middle of your timeline, and then you want to make the jet dash like around here, and then it'll be like a quick dash and then like slowed reverse, and everything will change once you do the graph. And the graph for it will look something like this, and then you just drag it to where it looks something like this. And what this is, it's like fast, slowed, and then reversed back, and then it'll look something like this. And then after you do that, you obviously just want to add your motion blur, and once you have everything rendered, it'll look something like this. And in this case, where it's just a kill and not like a build up before the kill, you just want to do like everything you did here but without the beginning part. So just like the impact, so the 1.5 or the impact frame that you did with all these adjustment clips, so like the camera shake, the brightness, and the zoom in, you just add this value 1.5 in the beginning of this adjustment clip, and then at the end you just reset the value back to normal. I'll show you guys an example with the transform node, and you should be able to do it with the brightness and camera shake the same exact way. So what you do is you just add your transform node. First frame, you just make it 1.5, so the impact right here. So it's zoomed in all the way. And then at the end, you make it 1, keyframe it, make sure it's keyframed, and then you just create your graph like this. And it'll be like a really quick zoom out like that. And then you want to add your motion blur, of course. And then with that effect, it'll look like this. As for the flash, I'll show you guys the values here. And then for the camera shake, I'll show you guys here. And with all that put together, it'll look something like this. And with like the whole edit combined, it'll look like this. Might look a little laggy, but that's basically what I do for all my edits. I'll also show you guys how I do my jet knife velocity. So what I do is I'll cut the clip up to where Jett pretty much like Jett shoots her knife. So I'll go to the frame right here, or on the headshot actually, and then I'll cut it to however long. I'll just make it this short. I open in Fusion and it's literally the same thing. You just press time stretcher, paste the first frame that you did into here, and then go to the end frame, keyframe it again, and just drag it to around here. Click this button, Control A, S, and you make a graph like this. And then once you do your graph like this, it'll look something like that. And then you add your motion blur, and this is what it'll look like. Nice little jet kill like that. And once you do that, I just repeat what I did here with the effect. You can like copy and paste it and change the values if you want, like that. And it'll just look like that, which is what I do for all my edits. Now as for the kill sounds, I have a MP3 file that has pretty much every single Valorant kill noise here. And what I do is I'll go through them, find the kill noise to match it up with the actual clip. So in this case, I have a Kuronami kill right here. So what I'll do is I'll find it in here. And once I have that section of the kill noise, I will cut it like this. And then I zoom out the timeline, drag it all the way here. And then I'll find the beat with the kills on, and I'll match up the kill noise with that beat like this. And then it looks something like this. And it goes the same with the jet knives. I have a YouTube MP3 with all the jet knife kind of noises, which I just cut like this. I'll up the volume to 10 because it's pretty quiet. And then what I'll do is I'll line it up with the beat, and then I'll just drag the jet noise like around halfway through, because the jet knife noise is kind of works weirdly. And then it'll look something like this. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that I do in DaVinci Resolve to edit my Valorant videos like that. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any comments if like I missed anything or if you guys want me to create anything different. And yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. See you on out.